Namaste everyone. Thank you for watching this video. So this is a video on karma and Jyotish. Okay. So we all know that that our life is shaped very it is shaped very distinctly. So if I could use that word, by the law of karma, and the Srimad Bhagavat, it teaches that all states of mind in which the feeling of me and mine is present, they are the results of permutations and combinations of the three gunas. Okay, so we know that there are three gunas, right? Sattva guna, rajas guna, and tamaguna or tamas guna. So what the saints say is that in order to know manas or the mind, we must be aware of the three gunas. Okay, so sattva is the natural state of the conscious mind, and rajas and tamas are the two ways in which the mind can go out of balance. Okay, so although the three gunas can theoretically exist as pure sattva or pure rajas or pure tamas, in our world, what happens is that all created things, they are innately composed of combinations of all three. Okay, just like matter is a combination of all the five great elements, which are known as the Pancha Mahabhuta. Okay, so even if you look at all matter, out of those five great elements, one or two will predominate at a time. Okay, so the 9 states of relative imbalance, which originate from the permutations of sattva, rajas, and tamas, is one more reason why why there are 9 planets to describe all of human nature and experience. Okay, and in each human life, the specific portions of the three gunas determine, that is by the via the 9 planets, the individual's aptitude for the for the various possible actions which a living human being can perform. Okay, so generally, what is the law of karma? The law of karma is simply stated as as you sow, so shall you reap. Jaisa beech boge, waisa paoge. Right? But it is this definition is a very simplistic tit for tat theory by the by the feel of it, by the look of it. But the law of karma is neither such simplistic nor it is it is an arbitrary human creation. Okay, so some schools will say that the law of karma has another name for for Newton's third law, which is that every action has a equivalent opposite reaction. Okay, that is Newton's third law, which we all learned in school. You slap me, I'll slap you back, right? So, but on a deeper level, if you look at it on a deeper level, this law of karma, it is inherent in the universe's structure. Okay, so the law of karma comprises of the doctrine of karman and phala, which is of course karma refers to act and phala refers to fruit. Okay, so this doctrine of karma and phala is less a product of man's sense of justice, that that one shall be punished for what one has done, that a natural as well as a necessary consequence of the doctrine of the inherent efficacy of the acts. Okay, so this is what the law of karma is is defined as. Okay, but then everything does not happen all at once in our world. Okay, because this world has some inherent limitations of time, space, and causation. Okay, for example, a tree and the seed from which it sprung, it cannot exist simultaneously. Yes, the tree must develop from the seed. Okay, so events occur in our universe according to a sequence which is scheduled by the law of karma on the on the great calendar, which we also call it as time or kala. Okay, and when does the law of karma start to operate? It operates as soon as prakriti separates from purusha. Okay, and everything that happens after after the separation of prakriti and purusha, everything that happens after this separation is ultimately due to that first act. Okay, and this this is there in every religion of the world. If you look at the story of Adam and Eve, right, the reason why they were why they were thrown out of the Garden of Eden was because of that first act of sin, that they tasted the the forbidden fruit. Okay, so it is just like that. Okay, so every action inexorably causes some effect, and each effect causes further effects, like ripples spreading from a rock, which is like a rock like ripples spreading from a rock that has switches pitched into a pool. Okay, so as various actions accumulate, the cascading effects become exceedingly intricate and perplexing, embroiling us in extended matrices of cause and effect, which bind us and the world together in a vast self-regulating system. Okay, so it was Mahatma Gandhi or Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi ji. He was famous to have said that after inventing the law of karma, God was able to retire. Okay, so jokes apart, all right, jokes apart. In living individual beings, the law of karma, it acts primarily at the level of ahamkara. Okay, and humans who have much more self-awareness than animals or plants, they have a proportionately greater ability to self-identify with their actions. Okay, so what humans for humans, they will sow more than other sentient beings, and because they sow more, they will reap more. Okay, so what humans sow and reap depends on the relative balance of the three gunas in their personalities. All right. For example, when there is a predominance of sattva, a person will always perform altruistic karmas. That means they will be unattached to their results. Right. So this is the highest state of karma that one can perform according to the Bhagavad-Gita. So if there is a predomination of rajas, what happens is that one will always act from passion, which is blinded by desires. Okay. And those who act without thinking, okay, without thinking without thinking, that those people have a predominance of tamas. Okay, so it is said that Vedanta says that only those people whose minds are fixed solely on the absolutes, that means on God or supreme or divine or whatever you can call it, only those minds which are fixed solely on God will remain untouched by the three gunas. Okay, so now karmas, they are divided into four categories. Number one, the first category is that of Sanchita Karma, which is the collection of all the karmas. Then there is the Prarabdha Karma, which represent the ready to be experienced karmas for this lifetime. Okay, then there is the Kriyamana Karma, which is a sum total of all the current karmas. And then there is the Agama Karma, okay, which is like the approaching karmas. So what happens is that classification of any action into one class of karma or another is not easy, okay, because the cause and effect relationship is essentially an inseparable unit. Okay, so wherever there is an effect, there will always be a cause, right? So while the partitioning of an individual whole into fastidious parts makes that whole easier to understand. So all the four karmas will overlap one another. It's not that you can understand one karma and then ignore the other three. No, all the karmas, they will be overlapping each other. Okay, so the first karma that we will the first form of karma that we will look at is the Sanchita Karma. Okay, so Sanchita, it means heaped together, right? So as we know, karma, Sanchita Karma, it is the sum total of all the past actions, which are of course known, which are of course unknown, that has been performed by a being and that are saved in his or her karmic account. Okay, so the known karma is karma that you are aware of having performed, while the unknown karma is the karma that you are not conscious of having done. Okay, so unknown karma is a sort of cause and effect relationship which is not easily known by the finite mind. Okay, and the complexity of this unknown karma is exponentially increased when the notion of the transmigration of souls, okay, which we commonly call as reincarnation, is brought into the karmic equation. Okay, so what happens is that reincarnation, it assumes that actions performed in previous life may well be the causes of effects, whatever good or bad effects experienced in this lifetime. So although it is not enunciated very clearly in the Vedas themselves, the doctrine of renunciation has been an integral part of almost all philosophies. Okay, of all philosophies since Vedic times. We look at the Bhagavad-Gita. Okay, the Bhagavad-Gita, which is also known as the Song of the God. So this is regarded as India's most famous and most loved scriptures. Okay, so this Bhagavad-Gita, it actually expresses this ideology or this idea in an analogy. So it says that this thing is there in chapter number 11, verse number 22. Okay, so it says that just as a person casts off worn-out clothes and puts on clothes that are new, even so does the embodied soul cast off worn-out bodies and take on others that are new. Okay, so this is, this is not my line. This is the line from the Bhagavad-Gita. Okay, so for example, okay, there is a client of mine, a woman who always wonders why she found it easy to earn her law degree and so difficult to find a husband. Okay, so easy to relate to her parents and so difficult to have children, wonders about these things, because what is happening is that she has forgotten the karmas that she had performed during her previous lives. Okay, so it is those past karmas which cause some of her present circumstances. Okay, it may be good or it may be bad, to seem disproportionate to the effects expected from, from unknown causes in this lifetime. Okay, and since every action has a result that the performer of the original action must also experience, so all the actions which this lady performs during this life will produce their own reactions, and any anticipated results that she has not yet experienced at the time of her death will inevitably be enjoyed in a future reincarnation. Okay, so of course, the reincarnation is a debatable topic, but then if you don't believe in reincarnation, what you may assume is that, the previous actions in this lifetime, including the intra-uterine influences and formative experiences in infancy, were the forgotten karmas, which just come up for better or worse in life. Okay, so this is about Sanchita Karma. All right. Next, we will look at Prarabdha Karma. Okay, so Prarabdha Karma is a portion of Sanchita Karma which is ready to be experienced by an individual during his or her lifetime. Okay, so it represents the current effect of past actions which appear as fate or destiny. So this is all about, Prarabdha Karma. So for example, as I said, Prarabdha Karma is that portion of Sanchita Karma which is, which is ready to be experienced by someone during his or her lifetime. Okay, and this will actually represent the current effect of past actions which will appear as fate or destiny. Okay, and for the uninitiated, I had actually done a paid webinar on Prarabdha Karma. So if you want to access the recordings, you can of course, let me know in the comment section, or you can message me personally at that number. Okay, given there in the description box. So just to put an example of, to put things in perspective. So suppose a woman who is simultaneously a daughter, a wife, a mother, and a lawyer does not at any particular moment simultaneously experience all the results of previous actions which created these roles. Okay, so for example, when she is only with her parents, she is predominantly a daughter. Okay, when she is only with her husband, she is predominantly a wife. When she is only with her children, she is predominantly a mother. And when she is only in her professional life, she is a lawyer. Okay, so this is what Prarabdha Karma is. Okay, this is what Prarabdha Karma looks like, right? So similarly, an entity does not experience all of its Sanchita Karma at once. It is only that portion which has become ripe for experiencing will surface at any one time. Okay, so this forms the basis of your rebirth. All right, and then we have Kriyamana Karma. Okay, so the Kriyamana Karmas, they consist of the total potential effect created by by current actions. Right, we know that people are not mere puppets. They are not not mechanically manipulated by the effects of the past actions. Okay, so Kriyamana Karma represents the possibility that by exerting our will, we can create new actions in the present, and this is your escape route. Okay, so Sanchita and Prarabdha Karmas, they are in a sense destined or fated because they are the product of past actions, okay, which have matured. But then Kriyamana Karma is what we do, right, at any moment with our capacity and will to create. Okay, it's a free will, that is. So for example, a congenital condition which prevents, say the lawyer female that we considered in our previous example, a congenital condition which prevents that lawyer from having children may be due to Prarabdha Karma or destiny. Okay, and this is a ripe effect which is ready to be experienced. Okay, so this is also a matter of Sanchita Karma, the long-term vision of fate, right? For the congenital deficiency was a part of the overall results to be experienced eventually, and that became ripe for experiencing now at the present moment. Okay, So if corrective surgery is possible for this condition, and if at a particular moment in adult life, the woman chooses to undergo surgery, that decision may occur because of her Kriyamana Karma. Okay, so I hope you have understood the distinction here. Next, there is the Agama Karma, right? So Agama Karmas, they are, they represent the new actions that you contemplate as a result of insight. Okay, they represent your capacity to envision future actions, whether or not you choose to implement them. Okay, so what is happening? So in that above example, the Agama Karmas are being performed once the lawyer dreams of or plans for surgical correction of her family. Okay, so it is said that for success you must plan your work and work your plan. Okay, so planning your work is Agama Karma, and working your plan is a Kriyamana Karma. Okay, so that is about Agama Karma. All right. Now, astrologers or Jyotishis, as we call them, they attempt in their analysis to interpret the varieties and intensities of a person's karmas in particular domains of life. Okay, for example, Sanchita Karmas are assumed to form a constant karmic background that is not totally comprehensible by ordinary means, and this also includes astrology. Okay, and so it is Sanchita Karma that prompts people in India like us to claim that the ways of karma are unfathomable. Prarabdha, Kriyamana, and Agama, they are somehow or somewhat knowable via Jyotish. Okay, so what astrology assumes is that human condition always arises from a dynamic interaction between fate and free will. Okay, so fate is fundamentally an expression of the Sanchita and Prarabdha karmas, and free will is the result of Kriyamana and Agama karmas. Okay, so Agama and Kriyamana karmas, they eternally evolve into Sanchita and Prarabdha karmas with the passage of time. And time is the axle that turns the great wheel of karma. Okay, so what was done by free will today, becomes the cause of what is experienced as fate tomorrow. Okay, that means today's free will becomes tomorrow's fate. So it is true that no one is ruled by fate alone. Okay, but it also may seem so until true free will emerges. Okay, so only when free will emerges can the quantity and quality of effort invested in modifying a situation equal or exceed the quantity and quality of effort that created the situation. Only then can transformation, which is supposed to simple changes in life, be achieved. If this is too difficult to comprehend, that what I mean is that the transformation can happen only when the Agama and Kriyamana karmas neutralize the Sanchita and it's currently materializing Prarabdha karmas. Okay, so the quantity and quality of effort required to alter previous karmas, they depend upon the intensity of Prarabdha karma. Okay, now there are mainly 3 degrees of karmic intensity that may apply to one, or maybe that may apply to that may be applicable to all areas of a person's life. Okay, so the 3 degrees are the Dhrida karma, which are the fixed karmas, the Dhrida Adhrida, which are fixed and non-fixed karmas, and the Adhrida or the non-fixed karma. Okay, now if you look at Dhrida karmas, okay, so Dhrida karmas, they will give fixed results because they are so difficult to change that they are practically non-changeable. Okay, so these karmas, whether they may be pleasurable, or whether, just a minute, so I'm experiencing some technical difficulty. Yeah, okay, I hope I'm audible. So Dhrida karmas, as I said, they may be pleasurable or painful, and they are destined to be experienced because of the intensity of their causes, right? So most people, or most of us, have noticed that from time to time an experience simply happens, right, despite all efforts to avoid its occurrence. So for example, if a pregnant woman who has enjoyed perfect health before and during her pregnancy, and who has had the best of medical care, delivers a child with congenital deformity, okay, so the Jyotishi who is reading the horoscope of that child might well find that the lady was experiencing Vridha Prarabdha Karma concerning children, and that her child was, experiencing Vridha Prarabdha Karma concerning its body. Okay, so as I'm saying, this karma may be pleasurable as well as painful. Okay, and as we all know, those who seem the least deserving are often those who get ahead in life. So this is very, very true, isn't it? You'll see people who are much least deserving as compared to you, they might go much ahead in life. So this is because of Drida karmas. Okay. So, Drida karmas will appear in a horoscope where confluence exists. Okay. So confluence means, occurrence of many astrological factors converging in their indication. Okay. So the greater the number of indications for good or bad in a particular area of a horoscope, the more obvious its results will become. Okay. So only when several indications in the horoscope, right? Several indications in the horoscope of a pregnant woman concurrently, such as deformity to her child, then we may conclude that she possesses Drida Prarabdha Karma concerning children. Okay. So although confluence is a particularly important interpretive principle, the traditional texts of Vedic astrology mention it almost in passing. Okay, because they rely on the guru's expert commentary to transmit this notion to the student. Okay. Then there are, of course, Trida, Adrida karmas. So these karmas, they occur when some, but not most horoscope factors relating to a particular area converge in their indications. Okay, again, these karmas, they can be, they can be good or bad, and they can be changed through the concentrated application of creative will through considerable effort. Okay, changing these karmas will require a lot of considerable effort. Okay, so these karmas, they will give fixed or non-fixed results according to the quantum of effort that is put in by the native. Okay, for example, suppose if the congenital deformity in the child, is corrected or substantially elevated through surgery, prolonged diet, or maybe intensive exercise, or some other corrective, then its prarabdha karma was of the Drida variety. Okay, for example, taking another example, suppose your father is leaving you his hard-earned money at the end of his life, and you determinedly squander it, right? It would be a case of Drida karma being changed by assiduous application of free will. Okay. And finally, if I have to speak about Adrita Karma, Adrita Karmas are those which give non-fixed results because they can be easily ordered. Okay, so when there is no confluence in a horoscope, then you can be sure that Adrita Karmas are present. So this is something similar to having a clean slate on which you may write whatever you want to. Right? For example, when a child of some normal physical exercises and the body of that child represents with an increased strength, so that the gain is directly proportional to the effort made. Okay, and if no unforeseen hindrances or other unanticipated variations or variances occur, it is a case of adrida prarabdha karma in the area of our physique. Okay. Anyway, so that is it from my end, right? So kindly like the content, subscribe to my channel, and if you have any queries regarding your chart or if you want a consultation, kindly reach out at the given number in the description box. All right, so thank you everyone. I'll see you again in a new video. Om Gurave Namaha.